Hi, team. I'm Fitz Koehler, your host of the OC Marathon Show and your very noisy race announcer for the SDCCU OC Marathon Running Festival. And we are super excited about our show tonight and about our race this year. So if you're not already registered, you want to head over to ocmarathon.com. You can find that right here. And we have a big half marathon this year on November 7th. The night before, we're doing the OC 5K, which is going to be a blast. We're adding all sorts of fun stuff this year. Since we've removed the marathon temporarily, we're going big time with the other two races. We're really jacking up the fun. So we want you to take part. Today we have an incredible guest. In fact, we have two incredible guests, but we're going to talk about how technology can really enhance your training and preparation for the OC Half Marathon and the OC 5K, and how it can affect your performance. And doesn't that make a difference? I'm actually training for my first full marathon, and I used to never use technology. I was like, I'm just going to go run. But the reality is I need technology to keep me on track, and it motivates me, keeps me honest. And we're going to be working with one of our great sponsors tonight to share how all this is done. And we have guests already reaching in. Hi, Leanne. So wherever you are on YouTube or Facebook, please use the comment section to say hello. And there they are again. We got new friends. Dee Marie, hi. So use the comment section. You can comment, you can ask questions, and we're going to do great giveaways. We're giving away the Coros Pace 2 watch, which you want to have. I think that's the actual watch that Eliud Kipchoge, I'm not even going to say it because it broke my mouth just now, as he won the gold medal in Tokyo. And then we have Des Linden wearing this gear, Emma Coburn, Sally McRae. All the big deal athletes are turning to Coros. So we're going to get quick with the highs. Hey, Pops. We got Carolina, David, what's up? And Cheryl. And now I am going to bring in the men of the hour. We're going to start with our race director, Gary Kutscher. Give a big howdy-ho, Gary.
What's going on, everybody?
And then let's bring in Dan Suher from Coros. Hi, Dan.
Hey, Fitz, how are you?
I am super great. And so, again, right over there, Gary Kutscher. He is the race director for the OC. How long have you been doing this, Gary?
I think this is 11 or 12 years since I took it over. 09 is when I took it over. So the year we made the change, we literally changed every foot of the course. We changed the date. We changed everything. So it was a big deal.
And then the most fun year happened in 2014, right?
That was our 10th anniversary. Fifth, yeah. And it was our largest year. We had all kinds of fun stuff. And that was your first year.
That's right.
I knew you were leading there.
That's right. I joined Rudy Novotny, who we love, and he should be here with us, but he's stuck in another race this year. So anyways, we're going to bring him back next year. We're going to strangle him and yank him back over. And then we have the global marketing director from Coros. Hi, Dan.
Hey, how are you?
I'm great. We're so excited to have you and your high-tech equipment as a part of our event this year.
Yeah, we're super excited. You know, it got a little delayed beyond where we thought we were going to kick things off, as did a lot of races last year. But we are pumped to be a part of the OC Marathon here in 2021 in November.
Absolutely. So tell us a little bit about Coros. If somebody has been hiding under a rock and they're not sure yet, give us the lowdown.
Yeah, so I like to say we're the new kid on the block, but we are absolutely the latest and greatest when it comes to wearable technology. There are some big names out there, but we're here to kind of disrupt the industry. But you don't do that without making a great product. And so really what we focus on at Coros is creating just the absolute best training tool. So, you've got your shoes and some of your other gear that help to enhance your run. We want to make a GPS watch that, between the hardware and everything that goes into it with the software as well, it's just going to help you to train better, whether it's, your first 5K, first half marathon, or your 1,000th. It shouldn't matter. We're creating that gear for you.
And so these are the things that resonated with me as I peruse your list of options with your gear. It's beautiful. So
thank you.
It's all very pretty. But the rumor on the street is it has the longest battery life out of any of the high-tech products, which goes a long way. It's really resilient, it's sturdy, it operates in all sorts of temperatures and weather varieties, and you have all sorts of cool options for tracking other sorts of activities, not just running, not just cycling. So so tell us more about that.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, certainly, running, whether that's road running, trail running, running on the track, or indoors on the treadmill, that's going to be the vast majority of our users at present. But we have so many folks that do multiple activities, whether they're a multi-sport athlete and they are doing triathlon or something of the like, or they just they cross train and they cycle some days, they swim some days, or during the winter, they go skiing or snowboarding. During the summer, they stand up paddleboard or they kayak. We've got options for all of that.
Pause a second. You just hit magic words for me. So stand up paddleboarding and snowboarding. How do you track that?
Okay, great. So snowboarding, really easy. We've got snowboard mode. So you just scroll that dial to hit snowboard mode. And what's cool about snowboard mode is it's going to track you on the way down the mountain. And it's going to automatically pause when you get on the lift. So, there's some folks that you see them when they go to, Strava or something like that, and they have they've got a King of the Mountain segment, and it happens to be the lift ride. That's a little weird. You're not going to get that with us. And then stand up paddleboard. We try to simplify the user experience as much as possible. So we actually have kind of a catch-all activity mode called flat water mode. And it's designed for any of the activities that you might do out on, like a lake or traditional flat water, body.
Give me a few more of those items, because you all are in California. I'm in Florida. The water sports are a big deal. What other water sports will it track for us?
Yeah, so the idea behind the flat water is kayaking, canoeing, stand-up paddleboard, and some others. But we also have our whitewater mode. So if you think about anything that's going to have some elevation changes, so take some of those same activities, whitewater kayaking. We just had the Olympics, right? So you saw a lot of this in the Olympics, but or just whitewater rafting and things like that. Rowing is another one. We have both traditional outdoor rowing as well as a tie-in with Concept 2 rowing machines, so that you can directly tie in there if you're on the erg inside. And then a little bit more, I guess, specialty or specialized. We have a windsurfing mode. And a very unique, I hate that term, so I'm going to yell at myself. A unique term or a unique mode, which is speed surfing. And that I don't think has really made it in a big way to the US just yet, but it's huge. Huge is a relative term, but it's become really big in parts of Europe. And so the idea is it's windsurfing, but it's windsurfing to try to clock the fastest speed. So folks that are getting up to 60 kilometers an hour on their windsurf board. So we are one of two watches on the market. The other is from a very small niche company that actually has a response rate fast enough to work with speed surfing.
That's very cool. I would also like to add a little recommendation that you could put in a mode for bad surfing or beginner surfing. Notice the big mark on my face for eating the ocean's surface.
I've done that. I have done that. I've been, I don't know, whenever it was before COVID, went on a vacation with some buddies down to Costa Rica and did some pretty poor surfing myself. And I used the open water swimming mode because it tracked exactly what I wanted to track.
That's spectacular. In fact, just trying to get past the waves to get out to the point where you could get on a wave was a really good workout. I thought this would be killer to know what type of output I was doing. So we have our first question. It's from the beautiful Miss DeMarie Bataille. Does it connect with your phone?
Absolutely. Yeah. So we have our own mobile application called the Coros app. And so it ties in through the app and through both Apple and Android devices. And what I will tell everybody is what we make is a sport watch with some smart features versus a smartwatch with sport features. So, think of something like the Apple Watch. That's going to fall into that second category. So you'll get notifications, whether it's your text or your WhatsApp or your Twitter or whatever. You're going to get all of that if you want it on your watch. It'll also tell you if somebody's calling you or not. But I can't, put it up to my mouth and Dick Tracy talk on it like I can on some other devices that are out there. So, you get what you need, but then everything else is really performance focused.
Okay. And it's for us. So we want to talk about our running next. We got Yvette. Hello. So Dan, do you happen to have the Pace 2 with you for us to see?
I meant to grab one from downstairs. I don't at the moment, but
okay. It's okay.
Yeah, we'll figure that out before we get done with the show.
All right. So we've got some comments coming in. I love the comments, and all of our viewers, please feel free to say hi, ask questions. Anne Marie Nuno, she loves her Coros. Of course she does. And Lindsay wants to know how long do the batteries last?
Well, it depends on the model. And obviously depends a little bit on the usage, but under normal usage, we are going to offer anywhere from 25 hours of battery life on our Apex 42, all the way up to our Vertix, which is a 60-hour battery life. And we've got something coming down the pipe soon that's going to be even crazier than that. So, and what's cool about those numbers that I just shared is that's under a normal usage. So you're going out, you're running with it, you're measuring your heart rate, all that stuff. It's not just like under the absolute perfect conditions you get this. A great example was Camille Herron in late 2018. She wore our Apex 46, which is the watch I'm wearing here.
Okay.
That's got 35 hours of battery life on it. Gary's got it too. Or he might have the Pro there. I didn't see it. It was too fast. But, Camille ran the 24-hour world record down in Arizona. And she ended up breaking that record about a year later. But what was great is we said it was 35 hours. She ran for 24 hours and she had 32% of her battery left.
Wow.
And so what that really said is, it's one thing to like print it on your box and say, hey, you can have up to 35 hours. It's another thing to say, okay, look at this. It really does last as long as they say.
Yeah, and our ultra athletes are using their watch. It's not like they just have the watch on their arm. They're constantly messing with it, checking in it, using that battery to the fullest. And so while some folks are training for their first 5K right now, and to many people in the world, it sounds outrageous to run 100K or 100 miles. There are so many people doing that right now. And for their tracking device to die a quarter way into their adventure is pretty tragic, pretty harmful to their efforts.
Yeah, I mean, I have a fun little anecdote. We work with another great trail athlete, Tim Tollefson, who lives in Mammoth, but he's a California boy through and through. And he previously worked with another brand, and he's finished third at the Ultra Trail Mont Blanc, the UTMB, which is over in Chamonix. Well, starts and finishes in Chamonix, France, and goes around Mont Blanc. And so this is a big race, big adventure. I mean, there's arguably no bigger race in the world of ultra. Well, he finished third twice. One of those years, he actually broke the course record. So did the two guys in front of him. But he broke the course record. And his watch, this is before he worked with Coros, his watch didn't make it to the finish line. And how frustrating is that you are the pinnacle, other than those two guys, nobody was going to finish that race faster than him. And the watch didn't make it. And this is a watch that was designed for this purpose. So, we have naturally built a really strong following in the ultra trail running world. And we love those athletes.
Yeah. And so you have one of our OC family members, Sally McRae, working with you. She just won Badwater, the first female to cross the finish line. And she's won 10 ultra marathons.
I don't know the exact number, but yeah, I mean, she is an absolute icon within the sport of trail and ultra running, and a fantastic athlete and a fantastic person. I'm going to just miss her. She's going to be stopping by our office in Irvine to say hi on Friday. I'm unfortunately back to the East Coast tomorrow night, so I'm gonna miss her, but I'll zoom in to get to say hi.
So can you do me
I
a
want to
favor?
add one real quick thing to the battery life, because I think it's one thing to talk about 30 hours in full GPS mode and what these athletes are doing. But for everyone else out there, what's really amazing is you don't have to plug it in every night. I mean, it literally can last you 20 days, 30 days, depending on which watch you have, and still go out for your 3, 5, 10-mile runs, and literally not find your charger for a week and a half, 2 weeks, 3 weeks, and you won't have any problems. So that I think is on top of having the amazing full GPS and the full usage when you're doing your altimeter and all the other stuff that's important in it. But when you're wearing it, and something else you had mentioned right off the bat, how good looking they are. I'm a real watch guy. I've got a lot of watches. I used to have a tag that I wore just about every day. And I got to be honest, I wear this Apex, not the Pro. I wish it was a Pro. It's fantastic for me, though. It's all I really need. And it is it's the best looking watch. If I want to change the face, I can do that. It's amazing. So,
Gary, there's one problem with our battery life, and it's that people tend to lose their chargers because they go so long between charges.
I can see it.
And so, we try to solve problems, even if they're problems that we, I guess, kind of created to begin with. But we created a keychain charger that we came out with maybe 2 months ago. And it's great because you just clip it on the little carabiner, and now you don't have to worry about, it's like 2 inches long, and it's great. So we created a problem, but we solved it for people, because we were selling a lot of replacement chargers because people are like, I don't remember where I put it.
Yep. Absolutely true.
Yeah. And for apparently Dee Marie was talking about race weekends when you travel, and someone like me, I don't remember to do those things. So that's a big deal to have a watch that just stays charged for a very long time. So I was going to tell you, Dan, and this is important, that when you see Sally, I want you to walk up to her and poke her in the chest like that and say, hey, Fitz Koehler wants to have you on her show.
All right. Well, it'll be a virtual tap, because I will be through Zoom, but okay. I will remember to do that. And who knows, she might be watching right now.
She might be. Be aggressive about it, though. In fact, I met Sally at the OC. She was so sweet. She came over to our kids' races, and then she traveled around with me between the start and finish line. She was great, really lovely. Got to spend some nice time with her, and it's wonderful when our elite athletes are just good people too. Great role models, great humans. And Lindsay you answered her question, Gary. You let her know what she was looking for. So let's go to our viewer who's never run a race before. They've just registered for our 5K or half, and they're just getting started with training. How do they utilize the Coros watches in their training? Yeah.
So, I mean, at the very simplest, a GPS watch does a couple of really basic things. How fast am I running? How far am I running? And how long have I been running? Right. So, distance, pace, and duration. Right. And if you're training for your first race, and we as a brand, we use the term training a lot, because making a performance device, we've said that our customer is anybody who's training for something. That doesn't matter if you're training for the Olympics, like, Eliud Kipchoge and a few of our other athletes, or if you're training for your first 5K or anywhere in between. Training is kind of an attitude. It's a mindset. It's a level of focus and dedication. And so if you've taken that step, you've signed up for the OC 5K or the half marathon, but in this case, we'll say the 5K, and you want to get yourself prepared, you've probably found a training program somewhere. Maybe it's from a magazine, maybe you've employed a coach, maybe you're part of a running group locally. Doesn't matter. You're training. And so if you have that training plan, you're being given some instructions. And at the very basic, again, the GPS device is going to help you follow that training plan. Because if it says, I want you to go out and I want you to run 1 mile, or I want you to go and run 20 minutes, or I want you to do a run walk program. You can program that into your watch so that it alerts you when your 1 minute of running is up and your 2 minutes of walking is on, or vice versa.
You just made all the Galloway people jump for joy. That was it. You went Galloway.
Yes, that exactly. And that's what without saying it by name, obviously, kind of alluding to, the Galloway program. And I've been fortunate to be on their podcast a couple of times to talk about, very similar things. And yeah, I mean, there are a lot. That's what I mean when I say it really doesn't matter what level of athlete or runner you identify as. There's a way that you're going to be able to use this device, this tool, to aid in your training, to make your experience as a runner that much better.
Now, what about if you're training at a track?
Great question. So, to those that, maybe haven't dealt with the pains of running with a GPS device on the track before, they say, this is going to be a great place to use my GPS device. There's no trees, it's wide open, clear sky. This is going to be wonderful. Unfortunately, as you start to learn, that couldn't be further from the case. And a lot of it has to do with how the satellites work and connect to you, and how tight of a 400 meters as an oval, it seems like that's a really big space. But the fact that you're basically constantly pivoting, and the way the technology works, where it's pinging to a satellite that's 12,000 miles above our head. I mean, that's really far. And there's only 31 of them up there for the GPS system. 31 satellites, 12,000 miles away, all over the world, right? So at best, there's a few of them that are up above our head at any time. And we're pinging to them and trying to get as accurate as possible on this 400 meter track. Never works well. So again, we are the brand that tries to solve problems for training. And so we developed, we're coming up on, I guess, almost 2 years ago now, we developed a track run mode. And so you go in like you would pick any other activity, you would specify that you're doing the track run. And it's going to ask you as specific as what lane are you running in? So lane 1 is 400 meters, but obviously lane 7 is a bit longer, 5 or whatever. They're different distances. And so for a standard 400 meter track, it knows that. And so you can go out and you can run, and it takes one lap to kind of calibrate itself. Okay. And then from then on, and even that first lap is still going to be pretty good, but from then on, you're getting spot on splits, 400 meters, 400 meters. And what's great is when you see that in your Coros app or Strava, Training Peaks, any of these, third-party platforms that you might use, a Map My Run, whatever, you're going to see an oval like the track, because that's how you ran. What you didn't do is you didn't run at a bunch of like 45 or 90 degree turns. You didn't run diagonally across the track at some point. And these are very, for those that have spent years, doing workouts on the track and trying to use a GPS device, that it's kind of a fool's errand. And that's just not the case with this particular mode.
I like that vocabulary. It's a fool's errand. Did you get that, Gary?
Yeah, I need to use that.
I'm big on that. Also,
you have full rights.
Thank you so much. Clint Sherbarth, I want to tell you, we're super excited that you're training for your first race. I will look forward to seeing you at your start line and your finish line. If you need a finish line hug or a start line hug, I have got them. I'm bringing extra just for you. I love first timers, guaranteed PR. So that's a big deal. But if you have any specific questions, because you're a first timer, bring them on. And we have Brenda thinks the track app part is very cool. And then DeMarie wants to know, will it work with the All Trails app?
So I don't know that All Trails is something that we are syncing to directly at the moment. Sometimes there's like, kind of back end ways that through another app that we connect with that it'll connect in. We do have a list of third party apps that we work with in our app. You can see that in the profile page, but we're also constantly adding more. So we're actually, we haven't officially announced it, but it's live. We're integrated now with the VDOT platform. I know there's a lot of coaching services out there that utilize the VDOT platform. The McCurdy Train Group is one of them that we're developing a relationship with. So that's just another one to add on, to the options that you have.
And that just came up. Michelle Montiel, who's going to be on our show next week with a Snail's Pace Running Stores. She is part of a Snail's Pace Running Academy. And so that's the platform they use. In fact, she wanted to check it out. She was very excited that it did align with VDOT and Snail's Pace Running Stores. The Coros products are all available there as well. So anybody can obviously buy them right from the Coros store. But if you're heading over to a Snail's Pace Running Stores, you can get your Coros products there as well.
Absolutely. We love supporting our specialty retailers. That's for sure.
All right, guys. So this is one of the most exciting parts of our show when we give stuff away. Are you ready to help me give stuff away?
Let's do it.
Absolutely.
You gotta wave your arms around. It's a giveaway. There you go. My favorite people are they're not really people. My favorite things are the Wiggly Men in front of the car dealership.
Yeah, car dealerships. Yep.
I have one of those. I think I'm going to bring it next time.
Nice.
So it can be a part of our giveaway. What do you think about that, Gary? Is that a good addition to the OC Marathon show?
You know, that other idea that you had, that might be kind of a fun idea to go ahead and pick up a couple of those too. I actually really like that.
I love the Wiggly Men, and they have an American flag one. I don't own that one. Mine's red, but it's a suggestion. Actually, folks, if you love the Wiggly people, use the comment section and give some suggestions on what color Wiggly people you think we should have at the OC Half Marathon and 5K this year, right? Because Gary's going shopping.
I'm going shopping.
Yeah, and maybe I'll bring mine in my luggage. I'll tell Delta, sorry, I got a Wiggly guy. Not paying extra for him. Okay. All right. Our first giveaway is going to be for a training shirt, an OC Half Marathon training shirt. And this is our question. Are you guys ready for the question? Yes, everyone's out there. The question for our OC Marathon training shirt is, what is the official name of our youth running program? First one to answer correctly in the comments section gets it.
And this is our inspired training shirt. It's by others to fitness.
Do we have like music that goes on?
I know we need to get
Dun, dun, dun.
when Gary sings. That's right. There's no copyright to Gary's voice. So, all right, orange for the win so far. We've got orange.
Yeah, we're still on the orange Wiggly people.
Finish line Wiggly people. I like that, DeMarie. And Catalina Larson, kids run the OC.
Yeah.
Yay! We're the Wiggly people. All right, Carolina,
how big is that race? You remember how big that race is, Fitz?
We had 10,000 kids in 2019, right?
10,000. Well, 10,000 with some adults out there. 9,200 kids.
Spectacular.
They probably haven't learned about rounding yet, but we'll round up.
Exactly.
10,000.
Unbelievable. We call that orchestrated chaos. It's just the most amazing thing out there. So
yeah,
and we're going to not have it this November. Unfortunately, we've decided to pause the kids' run, let the schools figure out what's happening. But we're going to be back with hopefully 10,000 again in May.
That's right. And we want all the kids to just join us for the OC 5K because they can totally do that.
That's right.
We're offering better prices for the OC 5K. So bring the kids out, give them a challenge, and you can all hold hands and sing songs as you run it.
And so Carolina should just get a hold of us. Fitz, you want to let her know how to do that?
Yep. Carolina, just message info@ocmarathon.com, and you can see that right over in the corner. Info@ocmarathon. Tell them who you are and that you want an inspired t-shirt. Thank you, Dan. All right, going back to the gear. And folks, we are giving away also either a free race entry to the half or 5K, or if you've already registered, it'll be a VIP upgrade. So that'll be one of our next giveaways. And we're also giving away a Coros Pace 2 watch, which is very exciting. Do they get to pick the color, Dan?
I think we can make that happen.
Yeah. What colors? It's red and green and yellow.
So we've got a red, we've got a green, we've got a gold. And then those are the kind of the seasonal colors. And then we also have our traditional colors of white or navy.
Nice choices.
So lots of options.
Yeah. I'm sure there's like glittery pink coming up next too, right?
maybe, but
That's your big giveaway. That's coming.
It's the big reveal.
All right. So back to training for our races with your watch. Can we set a goal in your watch that we need to attain? So for example, when I'm on mile 2, maybe I want to make it an 11-minute mile. Is there something that'll tell me I'm going too slow, going too fast?
So you can set a number of different alerts. You can set it around pace, and you can also set it around, heart rate or a metric like that. So because while pace is something that we're all familiar with, pace and then effort are oftentimes very different, and that can have something to do with the weather, the terrain, a lot of different, just how much sleep you got last night, right? There's so many different things that contribute to how hard your body is working. But long story short, you can set those alerts to be in a certain, range. So if you are running a little too fast or running too slow, if you are working a little bit too hard or your heart rate's a little bit too high, it'll alert you. Likewise, if you're at the bottom end of that range. Or if you're somebody who says, hey, I just want to stick to this exact pace. I want to set basically a metronome. That is something that you can do as well.
That's pretty spectacular.
Amazing.
Yeah. What kind of body metrics does it gauge?
Yeah, so depending on the watch, but I'll focus in on the pace too, since that's what we're going to be giving away, and I think that's what is going to be the watch that the most runners can take advantage of. It's going to certainly give you heart rate straight from the wrist. Although if you are somebody who really trains specifically based on heart rate, I always suggest using a chest strap, which you can pair into your watch and override the wrist heart rate data. That's always an option. It's going to give you, and we were talking, I guess, all sorts of metrics in terms of, we talked pace and distance and all of that. It's going to give you your cadence. So how many strides per minute am I going on? Some of our watches will offer SpO2 or blood oxygen percentages. That was definitely a metric that people talked about throughout the height of COVID. I will say we do not make a medical device. Right. It is more designed for when somebody is doing something at altitude. They're climbing or whatever it may be, and just making sure they're not experiencing altitude sickness, essentially.
So question. So
Yeah.
Floridian Fitz Koehler, sea level child, gets up on a mountain and she starts doing the hyperventilating thing. What does your watch do? What does it tell me?
Yeah. So two of our watches, the Apex Pro and the Vertix, they actually have what's called altitude mode. And in altitude mode, and you can do this manually too, but in altitude mode, if you're over 8,000 feet, 8,000 feet above sea level, it will automatically take that blood oxygen reading every hour. Wow. And so it's not only going to give you that SpO2 score, where, based on what we've kind of all learned over the last year, you kind of want to make sure that you're, kind of in that low 90s or above. That's the good zone, but we'll also take that into and put it into our own kind of proprietary score. A 0 to 100 that takes into account some other things, your heart rate, how much you've exerted yourself already, because sometimes that is naturally going to impact your pulse ox, your SpO2 reading, but basically giving you a red, yellow, green, or a green, yellow, red, depending on how you look at it. Green says, hey, you're safe, keep climbing. Yellow says, maybe stay where you're at for a bit. And red is, you might want to head back down the mountain pretty soon.
Very clever. That I've not actually heard about that. That might be a common tool, but that's very interesting to me. Very cool.
Maybe, not super useful in Florida, where you have it's the lowest high point of any state in the country. I know that because I'm from Delaware, where we have the second lowest. So, we couldn't even win that one.
It's pretty weak, but I tell you what, I live on a hill with a 10% grade and I curse all the way up it. So we've got some sort of inclines.
That's what matters though. It's not necessarily how high. Obviously there are, benefits and toughness to training at altitude. I know we just saw somebody that says they go to Colorado, was it once a month or something like that? But it's also about what is the altitude change? What is the elevation difference? And over what period of time? What is that grade? Because that's what's going to, picture being on the treadmill and putting it at that 10% grade. You're working a lot harder than when it's at a 1% or flat.
Absolutely. Okay. So we're gonna veer left for a minute because you have so many elite athletes that are partnered with your brand. You have Eliud Kipchoge, and you have Des Linden. So Eliud, he's world record holder for the marathon, and he's won 2 gold medals. You have so many athletes that were in Tokyo, and because they're representing your brand, obviously you want them to do well, and they did so great. What was it like in the Coros office?
Yeah. So, and what's great is today is August 11th, so we can legally talk about all this again. For those that don't know about the Olympic blackout around marketing out there, there's all these restrictions, about these athletes. Thankfully, they've been loosened a little bit, but now we can talk about it all in our association with these great athletes. But yeah, I mean, Eliud is a phenomenal athlete. His accomplishments, certainly precede him. And last I guess it was October in the London Marathon, he it was determined he was human, right? He hadn't lost a race in I don't know how long. I think it had been 7 years or something like that. He hadn't lost a marathon, and he had actually he had only lost 1 marathon in his entire life, and it was the second one he ever did. And so it's like, oh no, like what's going on with Eliud? And then he came out. There was a special race that was put on in the Netherlands in April, and he won that in a a 2:04 or something. And then obviously if you watched the race last weekend, at about 30K, he just said bye-bye and he took off, and it was a very decisive, I think, an 80-second victory in the men's marathon for his second gold medal, Fitz, as you mentioned. And that was just super exciting. We have our group chat. So whether, it was folks that were out here in California, whether it was myself on the East Coast, we have some folks in Europe that were up very late to watch. I don't know if it was late or early for them at that point, but yeah, we were having a lot of fun. And, we definitely had some other runners in various events. You mentioned Emma Coburn, who's I believe 9-time U.S. champion in the steeplechase. And she didn't have the race that she was hoping to have, but what I think is more important is the way she handled herself afterwards, in the media, whether that be kind of the traditional media or herself on social media. And she really showed, why she's a role model to young, female or male athletes that are coming up into the sport. And sometimes you don't have your day, and it's an absolute bummer when it's something that you've worked 4 or in this case 5 years towards. And she was a favorite in the race. She's a gold medal world, she has a gold in the world championships. So, but yeah, I mean, we had different types of highs for our athletes throughout the Tokyo Olympics.
Well, it's got to be very exciting when the finest marathoner in history is wearing your product.
It's very special. We love working with Eliud and his team. I mean, it's when you talk about an athlete who's at that level of the sport, I mean, he is somebody that is going to transcend, just his own career, right? He's going to live on. We think about maybe somebody like a Meb Keflezighi here in the US. He's Meb on that global scale. Not that Meb is not also global, but we have a special place for him here, in our hearts in the US. And so, Eliud is going to leave a lasting legacy, but he's nowhere near done yet, which is what we found out. And he's just great to work with, and he's just such a nice human being too. And And that's what's so critical when you're a brand and you're trying to align your brand. It's important that they not just be fast. There's a lot of fast people out there. They may not be the world record holder or the gold medalist, but there are fast people out there. But it's about having good people that you want to align your brand with. And that's how he is. And that's how his, support team is too, regardless of how good he is.
Yeah, you know what, he oozes pure class, and in a time when athletes have surprisingly turned off half of the population for this or that reason, the athletes you've aligned yourself with are taking the high road, and being gentlemen and ladies, and really representing you all well. And to our audience, most importantly, is if it's good enough for Eliud, and it's good enough for Des and Emma, it's probably good enough for them, right? It's probably going to meet our standards as the average runner.
Yeah, that's really, I mean, from a marketing perspective, that's why we work with these athletes, right? We're a young brand, and there's a lot of folks out there, whether, watching us tonight, that maybe had never heard of Coros before, jumping on, the show tonight. And so, yeah, there's a piece of it that says, like, okay, I give it my stamp of approval. But it's also, who's going to put this device through a harder test than one of these athletes?
Yeah.
And so, yeah, it's not just if it's good enough for them, but if it holds up to what they put it through, it's going to work wonders for me. And so, yeah, that's really a big part of what we do.
Yeah, it's definitely a good sales pitch for me. I'm like, okay, if it works for him, I'm like, right. And again, they're pretty. So and I know Dee Marie's out there. Dee Marie's sitting in her Lululemon outfit from head to toe. She's like, it's got to look good. And it does. They're all pretty watches, which
I think
I know
we should talk about having Coros at the OC Marathon Running Festival this year. Don't you think?
I think that's a great place to go. And right after we do this, I want to do the giveaway for the Pace 2.
Yeah, and I also don't want to forget that Dan has big news that he wants to go ahead and make sure that everyone hears also. So for anyone who's coming in and out, I want to make sure we get them to be excited about that also. But for this year, we are super excited also to have Coros come out to the SDCC OC Marathon Running Festival. We couldn't be happier. To have a brand like that, something that I adopted it as soon as I possibly could get my hand on one, and I've loved it ever since. And to be able to share that with our runners, I think is extremely special. Dan and I have been talking about this, and it was going to happen before 2020, and it was before Iliad. It was, we were talking about this, and then we know what happened. So, Dan, I just want to thank you. I can't wait to have your team and everyone out at the OC Marathon, and being able to have our branding of you everywhere out there. And when people get their times on their runner tracker, when they get their results, they're going to get to see the Coros brand. And so we're very excited, and I just want to thank you.
Yeah, absolutely. No, I mean, that excitement is shared. We've been waiting, I don't know, a year and a half, 2 years to be able to have this opportunity. And while it won't necessarily be the first big event that we do end up activating at, it was designed to be, because, you are our backyard race. We're now in Irvine. We moved our office 2 months ago, about a mile or two down the road. So we were Tustin, now we're Irvine, but we're an Orange County based company. And so we are incredibly excited to be able to be a part of the OC Marathon, or OC Half Marathon this year. And so, yeah, we're pumped. We'll, as a team, we're going to put our heads together and come up with some really cool activations for the expo and for race weekend. Don't know what any of those look like yet, but we will have something fun.
I'm going to suggest you bring Eliud.
That's.
I'm not going to hold my breath on that one, but boy, that would be special.
That in the suggestion box. Okay. He really doesn't make it to the U.S. often, even with the relationship with Nike. But we do have quite a few athletes, and I'm hopeful that we might be able to have somebody that comes, and whether it's just at our booth as a great appearance opportunity or speaker opportunity, or who knows, if it works for somebody's schedule to jump in, hopefully Gary can save a space, and we'll get, one of our great athletes to be able to run the race.
We'd
Well,
love
you're an
that.
athlete yourself, Dan, so we're going to have you toe the line as well. So,
that is a loose term for me these days, but no, I appreciate that.
All right. So we've talked about the elite athletes, but the most important athletes are the ones watching us right now and the ones that will line up with us on November 6th and 7th. So we're going to give away a Coros Pace 2 watch in the color of their choice, perhaps.
Yes.
Right? All right. And so if you are watching, which you are watching live right now, use the comment section, YouTube, Facebook. Just use your little typing fingers. And the first one to answer this question correctly gets that watch. Like Lindsay's very excited. She's like, oh, okay. So our question is, I'm going to go with one of your elite American athletes. And Desiree Linden won the Boston Marathon. What year did she win it? That's our question for a Pace 2 watch. Rudy. Desiree Linden goes by Des. Very sweet, very fast. Also a Southern California girl.
Makes great coffee.
Not. Oh my gosh, so many people think 2019. No. Good guesses though. Holy mackerel, we got our new guy is the winner, Clint Sherbarth. Maybe he was inspired by Des, but you are right, Clint. Des won the Boston Marathon in 2018, and you will have an amazing Pace 2 watch for your first race. Congratulations.
And, I don't like making promises about the weather, but I have a really good feeling that the OC 5K and half marathon are going to be just slightly better weather than the 2018 Boston Marathon. For those of you who don't know, it was a headwinds of 40 miles per hour. It was in the mid to low 30 degrees. It was brutal conditions, and Des, she persevered through all of that and took down a really good field, and basically outlasted the field, outlasted the elements, and she won that race for her first marathon major win. So that was exciting.
So this is a cute little story. I worked with Des when I announced the Philadelphia Marathon in 2019. Mm-hmm. And so it was Des and Meb, and what a great group to hang out with for the weekend. But I was in the VIP tent while we were waiting for our first marathon finishers to come in. It was, again, icy cold and wet, and we were hiding inside. Yep. And we were talking about her race. And I said, Des, that look of intensity you had on your face the whole time was I just felt how intense you were. She goes, oh, that wasn't intensity. She goes, I was running scared. I was terrified. I thought, oh, how cute. I mean, what a humble person to admit that, right? She could have told me that was her eye of the tiger and she was, hunting down that championship. She's like, no, I was just terrified. I was running for my life. So what a sweetheart, right?
Yeah, she's great. Had the opportunity to spend just a little bit of time with her. And she's a phenomenal ambassador, not just for the brand, but really for the sport as a whole.
Yeah. Absolutely. Sure. Absolutely. Okay, Dan. So you have some new products being launched next week. They're mystery products. What can you tell us about them?
I can't tell you a whole lot, but you are the first people that are going to find out, because we'll make the bigger announcement tomorrow. That next Tuesday, so that's August 17th, we are going to be launching 2 new products, 2 new watches. So, we're not teasing and building it up, and then we've got like a little accessory or a new watch band or something. No, 2 new watches that we will be introducing, and there's really going to be something for everyone. So, if you are somebody who runs on the roads, or you climb big mountains and do anything in between, I've got a good feeling that there's going to be something on this launch that's going to, kind of satisfy your needs and excite you. So that is going to be launched. It's going to be held through on a YouTube live. I don't have the link at the moment, but it will be available on the Coros Global YouTube page. So you can go and subscribe there or follow us on social media at Coros Global. And that'll take place. I apologize for most of the folks here on the West Coast, but 7 a.m. On Tuesday, August 17th. So before you head into work, perhaps you can see what we've got up our sleeves. And it's going to be really exciting. Even going to potentially have some opportunities to win some product on during that event as well. So definitely encourage you. Yeah, Wigglies. Definitely encourage you guys to just see what we've been working on. A lot of hard work has, over the last many months or longer to bring these products to market. So we're really excited about what's in store for next Tuesday.
That is very exciting. Gary, do you think there will be pink glittery watches coming out on Tuesday? Do you think that's probably the big reveal?
I'm going to go ahead and hope that it's something well beyond pink glittery watches. And I'm certain that it will. And please get me the link. I'll make sure that we post that ourselves. And then for everybody else, make sure that you follow Coros at Coros. At Coros Global, correct?
At Coros Global. Yeah. And what I will tell you is, specifically Facebook and Instagram, if you reach out to us with a direct message, you're going to hear back, quickly. If you've got a question about product, if it's something that's very in-depth and we need to refer you to our support team, we will do that. But you're going to hear back. It could be from me. It could be from our CEO, Lewis. I mean, we as a team, we make sure that we're monitoring those social channels and interacting with our customers in a way that I don't think many brands are able or certainly do. So we welcome any of your messages, any of your questions beyond just tonight's show.
Well, Dan, we really appreciate you being a part of our show and sharing all the scoop on the Coros products.
Absolutely.
And we have a lot of fun planned November 6th and 7th, not just OC Marathon running, or OC half and 5K running, but activations with Coros. So folks, you'll be able to come and see the products, feel the products, enjoy the products. Obviously, if you get them now, it'll help you in your training. But if not, you'll be able to get your hands on them at the race weekend during the expo because you'll have a booth.
Yeah, that Friday is going to be, that's a holiday here at Coros at the office. I guess everybody still has to work, but we're just going to be moving the office just a little bit down the street that day or those days. So we'll be there. We'll have a booth. I don't know what it's going to look like or what we're going to be doing, but we're going to be having some fun with everybody. That's for sure.
Yeah, you know what? I announce races all over the country. This one is one of the most fun expos. It's just everyone's so engaged, and it's beach party mode all weekend. They show up for fun, and it's very special, Gary. You've created something very unique and wonderful.
Oh, thank you very much.
I'm definitely looking forward to that trip out. That's for sure.
Yeah, it's a good time. Okay, so we're going to do our last giveaway. Are you ready for this?
Yeah.
What are we giving away, Gary?
We're going to give away a registration for the SDCCOC half marathon or 5K if someone just wants to hang back at the 5K. And if you already are registered, we're going to convert that to a VIP registration, which gets you a special area at the start line. Certainly more important at the Sunday morning when it's bright and early and dark and could be chilly. It'll be a nice place with your own VIP bathrooms, and then you get the VIP afterwards. That's if you're already registered. If not, it'll be a registration. So that's what we're gonna give away right now.
And then Gary, just because I haven't registered for one of your races because I work them, could somebody just register for a VIP upgrade? Can they buy that? Is that a thing?
They can. Yeah, it's limited to 100 people. And then I think we allow 50 guests. So if you're running and you want your significant other or something at the finish line, you can just purchase the guest of a runner. But yes, so it's $139 for you. So you have to register for the race, and then with that, you get an extra giveaway. You get the start line. You get special personal item storage brought back and then put in the VIP tent so you don't have to go mess with, everybody else, right? No, I'm just kidding. And no, it's a really special thing. So, and you get breakfast and a couple adult beverages, and so.
I was just gonna say it's one of the best VIP tents in running.
It's pretty good.
It's very good, and I get to take advantage of the food, not the alcohol, because nobody wants me on the microphone after having drank alcohol, right?
Well, go ahead.
Trust me, nobody wants that. All right, we're going to do the giveaway now, guys. Big trivia. And if you watched last week, you heard the answer. So first one to give the proper answer in the comment wins. Who is the after party band, Finish Line Festival headline band that's been performing for us for 10 years?
This might be a hard one for some people.
I bet someone's going to get it like that.
The Rolling Stones.
Well, that would be something.
Exactly.
I just heard that.
That SDCCU is our title sponsor.
Yeah.
Good idea, though. They should start a band. Perhaps. Hack Mac and Heart Attack. No, but that's also sounds like a really fun band I would listen to. Who is this Hack Mac guy?
It's a little bit close, but we're not there. I don't think that's it.
Gonna look up to see if that's actually a band, though. I'm curious.
No, but I like Dee Marie, the poor thing. She's like, "What's the name? What's the name?" She's warm, right?
She's warm.
What is the name of our very talented?
You gotta see. Come on, somebody else out there too.
Okay, she's having just autocorrect issues. Come on, Dee Marie. People are looking it up now. You could probably go to the ocmarathon.com and
but don't do that.
Boom! Philip Perez, flashback heart attack.
Philip.
Bravo. All right, give him the wiggly people, guys. This is our congratulations, Philip Perez. So, Philip, are you already registered, or is this going to be a VIP upgrade for you? We want to know. Oh, and now here's Dee Marie was typing and doing dishes. That's what happens. Cheryl got it after the fact. Carolina got it after. Ray got it after. I love the fact that you guys jumped in there. You're working hard on this answer. Lindsay, Dee Marie. But
and Flashback's going to be there this year on Sunday. They just got through playing with Clint Black just this past weekend.
One of my favorites.
Yeah, they played with so many other people, and I think they were in Montana or someplace. But they played with Clint Black.
Outstanding. And
he said that they're his favorite new band. So.
Well, I believe it. That's great. Yeah, Clint. Nothing but the taillights. Philip Perez. So he's going to be a VIP upgrade. We're excited to see you in the VIP tent. Philip, you will love it. And you are welcome. All right. So next week, I want you all to come back because we are going to have a roundtable of experts to do a deep dive into your training and preparation for the SDCCU OC Half Marathon or 5K and 5K. Maybe you're doing both. And so we have
What's that called, Fitz?
The challenge, the Combo Crush.
Combo Crush. There you go.
Right? I know some things. Combo Crush Challenge. So we have sports nutritionist Marnie Sombai. Marnie has, I think she's completed 17 Ironman triathlons. She's a licensed dietitian. She's got all the degrees and master. She's genius, and she focuses on teaching athletes how to eat for their sport. We have Michelle Montiel from Snail's Pace. She's the running smarting pants, right? She's the running director.
She's the director of the Snail's Pace Running Academy.
Okay, running
so
academy.
They have four stores here. Hundreds and hundreds of people they train for all the races, not just the OC. Snail's Pace is also our official pacers as well. So if you want to run your 130 half, your 140 half, they'll be there for you as well.
Yeah, that's a really handy tool. And we'll talk more about that next week for folks who don't understand what a pacer. And then we have your favorite physical therapist, Gary. Tell us about her.
So Jessica Craig, she's become a great friend, but she's a doctor of physical therapy. She works with everyone from athletes of every kind. She herself was an athlete, and she works with, all the way up to the elderly. So right now I'm starting to consider having to give her a call. So no, she's fantastic and can answer all of your questions for any kind of injuries you're feeling, different aspects of what to do to keep from getting injured. So all of those things are great, helpful hints. So
yes. So folks are definitely going to go away with some quality information to help them train smarter and harder. Sport nutritionist, I'm a sport performance expert. We'll have a running coach and physical therapist, keep you running further, faster, pain-free. That'll be next Wednesday night, the 18th, 6:30 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. I know we have an international group of runners, so it's 9:30 on the East Coast, and you have to do the math if you're somewhere in between or outside of those boundaries. But we're super excited to see you. We will be doing more giveaways. And anything else you would like to add, Sensei Kutscher?
Yeah, no, I'm good. I think we've covered a lot here. I'm just so excited to have Dan and the entire team out there. And I cannot listen. They're a partner of the OC, but quite honestly, they are truly the best purchase I ever made as far as a running watch. And I've had all the other names. It's just so good. And I know that everybody out there can't, whether they're a 5K or going to do their first 100-miler, this is one of the best training aids tools that you can possibly get.
Yeah, I agree. Dan, anything else you'd like to add?
No, I want to reiterate that, we're really excited about, finally getting to be a part of the race and hopefully get to meet a lot of, whether it's first timers or, repeat offenders at the OC Expo. And, we're just excited to be a part of it. And yeah, just, if you guys have the time on Tuesday morning, we'd love for you to watch our launch event and, feel free to reach out with any questions that you have after we get off the show today.
We appreciate you, Dan. Thanks so much. Folks, if you have won one of our giveaways tonight, email info@ocmarathon.com. Tell Kelsey who you are.
That's
what
good.
You won with Dan is so handy dandy. I am Fitz Koehler, your very noisy race announcer. It's been a pleasure. Thank you, Gary. Thank you, Dan. And we will see you all next week.
Right. Thank you so much. All right.
Bye, everyone.
Bye.